Rebos, and welcome to another episode of the Orc Fort podcast. This podcast is all things UO Outlands through the lens of Orc roleplayers. Today, we got another human in the fort, Mr. Guilefoyle from the Sir Knights Guild. Guilefoyle is a Seadog, which is a boating-focused member of the Sir Knights Guild, and he and I talk about our alliance that we have, the Confederacy of Privateers. And it's a small boating alliance amongst the notion of bigger sharks. So we sort of touch on why we created the alliance in the first place, what it means to us, and why we think other members could probably benefit from learning about it. So please make sure you grab your bottle of grog, sharpen that blood axe, and march into the Orc Fort. Catch a seat next to the campfire and enjoy today's episode. All right, Guilefoyle, man. Welcome to the Orc Fort podcast. You made it finally, brother.
Well, thank you.
We've officially started, and hopefully it's I know it's going to be a good episode, man. It's a pleasure to have you. You're one of my favorite knights. I love all Sir Knights, but you are up there among one of my favorites.
Well, you are my favorite orc, and you're my favorite frenemy. So it's yeah.
It's only fitting then. No, yeah, welcome, man. It's like I said, I'm happy to have you. I want to start off by kind of introducing you, give you a chance to introduce who you are, and tell us a little bit about you and your character, your main character that you play, which is Guilefoyle.
All right. So Guilefoyle. So this is my first Guilefoyle. So I've been starting to play a Guilefoyle character for about 2 or 3 years. I've been like it's more of my role play character. Guilefoyle is basically part of my family is from Ireland, and it's like their last name are pronounced this way, so that's how I came up with that name. Basically, Guilefoyle is when I decided to create Guilefoyle, at first I wasn't sure if I was like split in between becoming an orc or joining you or joining Sir. So I was a bit torn in between. So I made Guilefoyle because I was like, maybe I could join you or maybe I could join Sir. And turns out he became a knight. His background is he came from a monastery with his son that is surprisingly seems to be about the same age as him.
Yeah, it's funny.
So maybe he's legitimate, maybe he's not, who knows. And yeah, basically long story short, he's an ex monk. He was raised in a monastery, got kicked out of the monastery with his son and became a knight. Then somehow decided to become a sailor, and now I'm one of the admirals of our alliance. So
you know what I like it. Well, one, you should have made an orc. I'll just go out and say it. You should have been an orc, but that's okay. You know, we need good tin cans on the other side too, so it works out for us. It's still a good thing for us anyway. But the second thing is, you know, I think about it sometimes, and I love when characters have that sort of complexity, right? Because it gives you a second opportunity when you come across someone like you. You know, it's easy to just be the knight that does the good thing all the time. But your guy has a little bit of flavor, kind of like a Dantist, you know, in his own way. He's kind of like a Dant, like he wants to be good. But I love that even you guys, who are probably the most goody, quote unquote, goody two shoes on the server, aren't actually fully good. You know, there's guys who get drunk all the time, make mistakes, you know, and that kind of it helps foster that character, and it's awesome to see because I know your guy does it too.
yeah, so yeah, if you see the progression, like I've been playing Guilefoyle for about a year, and I started initially very the naive type of squire, doesn't say no, doesn't just follows order, then super pious, because Like you remember last year, like we did a quest together, and this was like my like more like pious arc of the character. And then he made a bunch of vows. Like he had vows of celibacy. He had a vow that of sobriety to remain sober, basically. And now I'm a bit. Then I fell into some sort of weird arc where, I mean, he was like I unlocked my madness aspect, so I wanted to make it a bit more chaotic. And I was also like big into sailing, into sinking other ships too, which is not super knightly, let's face it. But still, and yeah, and now my character started drinking lately. Some knights noticed. Some people made some comments. So I'm waiting to see where, like, if they're gonna take that somewhere. But yeah, the thing with knight is that there's like some people say, oh, we're not like a loyal good, or we're a bit more chaotic. It's not that, not about that. It's just like there's a lot of tints of grays in between, like what like super loyal or being loyal but like having some flaws, and everybody's got their little flaws in here and there, or everybody got their little flavor. Like a famous Seadog that we had, Black, like he also had his little flavor. He was a bit rough around the edge, uh, but on the other hand he was a super loyal knight, like unquestionable that he was probably like one of the best knights out there.
Yeah, yeah, I know
So
that. Yeah, I
yeah.
know that about Black, and it's. I think those are the best characters though, because those are the ones that stand out to you as like, it's like when you meet people that are trust fund babies, right? That are like
Mhm.
fucking parents got money, so they're just killing it. But when you meet the guy who's rough around the edges and kind of who found his own way through thick and thin, right, through the bullshit, that's kind of like the people you admire a little bit more, So I think the characters that we see, the fun ones, are somewhere in between, And so I do admire that about your guy, man. But let me ask you this: so that's Guilefoyle as a character who's broken his vows of. I'm guessing he broke his celibacy vows too, but we won't talk about that. But basically he's a rough around the edges. But what about you, man? You as a person. I asked all the guests this. When did you first hear the words Ultima Online? Tell us that story if you don't mind.
So I started playing Ultima Online maybe around maybe 1999, 2000. Like I was a bit late. Surprisingly, I've never played on the original servers, because back in the day, so basically, I was able to buy the game, but you needed a subscription, so you had to have a like a credit card. My mother would absolutely not want me to put anything on her credit card, so forget it. So the only thing I could do really was go on private servers.
I
Uh,
see. Yeah, makes sense.
so that's where I started. I started in like one of the shittiest private servers I can think of. The name of the server was, I think, Zulu Hotel. It
Oh
was
God.
like, oh, it was terrible. So basically, it was like no Feluca Trammel. Basically, it was like PvP everywhere at all time. But this, like, the secret sauce there that they thought would work is that there was no cap on skills. So basically, you could be like infinitely stronger than anybody. So I would get my ass kicked all the time.
Yeah, could
And
you
since I
imagine
was
that
just
on
12,
Outlands? Could you imagine if your majory skill kept going, or if your there'd be dudes at like 6 million majory, bro, or whatever. I mean, it's just. So you're saying like my swordsmanship would keep progressing and infinitely?
yeah, and I think even stats were like non-capped. So there was just no way you could catch up to certain people.
Oh God,
So I had
that's
to resign
crazy.
myself into playing a thief. So the only thing I could do is basically I would hide around, and when some reds would kill people, I would just like go in, loot them, then run away, get
Yeah,
into the guard zone.
that's
But
kind
I
of
mean, I
funny because
was
that's
like
kind of like the
12.
animal kingdom, right? Like the animals who can't kill on their own, they just wait for the big ones to kill, and then they go and scavenge what they can. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man,
Like that's
exactly.
kind of crazy, actually.
I was like, yeah, I was like the stray cat that was just like feed on like the remains of what was left, and like it sounds silly, but like like we had a lot of fun. I was able to afford a house. Like I was able like to do like some things there. Other than that, I was mostly like mining. Like I don't know why. Like I like gathering. I feel like I don't know. It's like a therapy for me.
Yeah, yeah. A
But
lot of people say that.
yeah.
I never actually mined in my life. I've never done it. I've never resource gathered or nothing. So there's and I think I kind of want to hold it. The same thing with Magery. I've never played a mage in UO. So I've been playing Outlands now for like, fuck, I don't know, 3-4 years or something, whatever, however long it's been, and I've never played a mage, and I've never mined, and I've never crafted either. So like, I'm kind of saving those elements of the game for later. That's my logic anyway. We'll see if I ever get around to them.
But here's the thing: for the mage, for playing a mage, um, any game that I play, I avoid playing mages. I always usually try to play like melees or some sort of fighting class. Which is why, like, I was a bit on the fence between joining Urk or Sir. But yeah. So, and even up to this day, like, I'm like right now, I have a character I'm raising Majory, and it's like I'm a bit like I feel like I'm betraying myself. Uh, but yeah, but back then it was the same. Like, I refused to play a mage. I played on other servers, refused to play a mage. I was always playing melee, even in servers where like Dexers were very underpowered. And but I mean, it's like I like the challenge. Like it's like I respect you guys for this to limit yourself so much. Like I try to limit myself. Like I try to limit Guilefoyle a little bit,
Yeah.
just with majory wise. But like man, you what you guys are doing, it's unreal. Like going like speaking of like sailing, like you guys just like not using the rune book, just using like hiking to get from place to place. Like you guys basically have to use public DMs. It's insane. Like I wouldn't like I don't know how you guys are doing it.
Well, it's. I mean, the hiking was worse before when you had to unlock every spot. That was worse. I don't know if
Hmm.
you know that because most people
Yeah,
don't
that
even
was
hike on the
terrible.
game.
Yeah, no, no, I remember because back then I always had a lot of cartography, and when they unlocked this, and I was like, oh, like even I could go anywhere now. Like even I can go anywhere now. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
so
just
they
like you
they
guys back then.
they switched them, but yeah, camping was their shit back then, and it was kind of fun because you'd be like, well, I've never been to this side of the world, so you'd go run there, or you'd find a way to get there to market. You know, so I'm always an advocate for getting out there. What happens like in like even with WoW for my I've only really played WoW in this game in terms of fantasy games, so I'm limited in my scope. But with WoW, for example, what was fun to me was running to the instances. I don't. Did you ever play WoW by any chance, Cal?
Yeah, I
Okay,
play
so
WoW.
like the vanilla 0 to 60 whatever 60 cap. If you had to go to an instance, you had to run there, and if you're doing it
Yeah.
with friends, you had to actually ask and find people, ask around town, and maybe or in the chats, right, the public chats or whatever. But the getting there, physically traveling from one place to another, was the adventure, bro, because that's where you would come across random people. That's where you would
Oh
see
yeah,
random
anything.
random things, right, like mountain ranges. If you travel to a new
Hmm.
land and you had to go to the instance a few times, you physically saw the place. You traveled through the place. Like I equate it to like, bro, imagine because you're French Canadian, right? I'm guessing you live in
Yeah,
Quebec,
I live in Ontario.
Ontario. Okay, so like let's say I'll just give an example then because I've been to Toronto. Let's say we live in Toronto. When you go to work and stuff, you see the city, right? When you
Hmm.
commute, when you go to the grocery store, whatever, you see the city. You see if a new construction is being built. You see if a new restaurant is opening. You kind of see the community and you embrace it and you embrace it. You're a part of that community, man. But imagine you snap your fingers and you teleport to work. Then you snap your fingers and you teleport to the same grocery store you go to every time. And then from the grocery store you snap your fingers and you're back at your home. Then you no longer actually live in Toronto. You know, that's my gripe about games. That's my gripe about Magic traveling. People do factions, bro. When they cap the point, they all hit recall to the next point. They don't travel to it. They appear to the next
Yeah.
point, and I hate that so much, man.
Yeah, because it becomes like like a little bit like a job. It's like, oh, okay, I gather my points, and it's like for me, it's like entering like data into a spreadsheet on Excel. So, but yeah, like the way I equate this is like when you remove those little like situation where you can like encounter people, like it really like how can I say that? Like it removes some faculties. Like I feel like the new like era of online gamers, they're not super social, which is why like what's great about Outlands is I feel like everybody's about the same like our age, and we went through like the era of like you actually had to make friends to group with people. Like one of the first MMO that I played a bit around the same time I started with UO was EverQuest. Okay, and I was able to play EverQuest. I had like an internet cafe that they had like that you could go play there on their accounts and stuff. And
Yeah.
for you to get into groups, like you had to actually talk to people, and not just talk to people. Like sometimes like you went to a camp and you're like, hey, can I group with you guys? Oh, you're okay. We have a list here. It's like a VIP list type of thing. It's like going into a club, and then like and you start like talking to people and making friends, and then they find out that like hey you're the VIP, so you skip the list, and or you
Right.
make friends that you set up your own groups and your own camps, and I feel like that's a bit like that's like I was when I joined Outlands I was a bit like I was trying to find, first of all I wanted to start role playing again because I was big into role playing. Like I did a few heavy roleplay servers, UO servers, before, but it didn't work great because I feel like the community aspect wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it's like when I started playing Outlands, especially with Sirs, like we would do like everything together. Like, hey, you guys want to go do like I was never alone basically. Like
Yeah.
right now I have to go out of my way to be alone. Like I have to go out of my way, like stay out of groups, stay out of let's say I want to have focus and have my own time. The other day I was lumberjacking, and I have like Zardes, like another Sir member, is like, hey, get your ass here, like we're sweeping. It's so it's like it's not that I'm trying to avoid people necessarily, but it's like it's so engaging, and I feel like it's missing, and I feel like the generation that doesn't have this, I feel like they're not just missing out on something. I feel like they have a faculty that they're missing. They're the faculty of like going out there, like making friends with strangers, like having relationship with strangers, and like building your relationship, and then having your network. Like I don't feel like you and me, for example, like two different guilds, and we're at war. Like technically we're enemies, and then like somehow out of the blue you throw up. It's like, hey, bro, let's make a quest together. Let's do. I don't like. I think when I met you, I think it's when you did those that event where it was like turn-based battles.
Oh
Do you
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. The dice roll game, right?
Yeah. So like first time I meet you, and I'm like, oh well, hey, do you want to play? Like we need some knights. Oh okay, I'm going there, and then like just like that slap of the finger, like a relationship is built, and then like after like more stuff coming, more stuff coming. But I feel like it's like I don't know, like I don't feel like you play like WoW right now, like the new expansion. I don't feel like guilds have that sort of camaraderie or have that sort of relationship with other people.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, our generation still had that social element. I think that's true, man. And we sound old as fuck saying that, by the way. We sound, I mean, but it is true, right? We had a social part to us that I don't believe is replicated. And when I last played WoW, and I don't know how many expansions it's been, bro. I mean, I can't even tell you what expansion it was, but the last time I logged in and played, it was to where it was people would log in, they sit in a city wherever the vendor is for whatever rares they're farming for. They look for group, they sign up on a gump just in their city without talking to anybody, and it auto throws them into a group. It teleports you to the instance. These people don't even talk to each other. They just know that this guy's the tank and I'm the healer. And then when it's all done, they just say GG, and then that's it.
Yeah,
And I'm
or
like, how is
worse,
that?
like
That is not what it is. It's just like they've all, like you said, man. It is kind of, that's a good analogy. You're basically putting data into a spreadsheet at that point, and You're just rolling the
Yeah.
dice to hopefully your drop comes right. The boss drops your loot. You got a 5% chance, so you got to run this instance fucking 80 times before you get it. So you're just going with the you're a robot, brother. You know that's how I see it.
Yeah, and the system is not like those games. Like they're like the systems of like playing dungeons and stuff. Like, it's not a they're not bad systems. But my biggest gripe is like when I returned to WoW, it was a few years ago. Like I think it was during Legion. I joined a guild and we were all like in real life friends and family. And I remember like I was like, I'm not gonna group with strangers. I'm just gonna group with people I know from my guild. And I would ask around like, "Hey guys, let's do a dungeon, let's do something," and like, "Oh," and like everybody's giving me excuse just to figure out that everyone's in their little random pug group doing their own thing, and I'm like, "What? Like seriously, guys? Like you're my neighbor, like I know you, like it's, and you prefer to
Yeah.
go like play with a bunch of strangers just because of what? Because like it's too demanding to play with your friends or something." So,
Or no, but
anyways, that's my
it's the same issue we come across in Outlands. It's like, you know, there's all these dungeons, and there's all these things to do, but we're gonna do the thing that is the absolutely most beneficial. You know, it's the same gripe that I have with pets and the underdog kind of. I don't know if you've done any taming at all, but they do have an ability called underdog or a factor in the game that strengthens the weaker pet. So if there's creatures that some people that aren't very popular, they get a slight damage bonus to kind of offset that a little bit, right? But my main thing is like if you ask in a taming channel, for example, and someone just asked this today. Actually, I saw it. They were like, "Hey, what's the best pets?" And they're like, "Oh, this combo. That's it." You know what I mean? It's like Phoenix and this
yeah.
caster, and here's the points exactly what you're supposed to do. Don't you fucking veer from the best thing, you know? And it's just like, God, that's sad, man, because they're not willing to sacrifice going into a boss with their own neighbor if the neighbor's weaker than this random guy that they're getting, right? That's just a
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of odd when you say it like that, but that's the truth. They'd rather not wipe with you than party with a random stranger.
Yeah, and I feel it also connects with like I know you're like a serious hater of the test server, and
Oh
I'm a
yeah,
bit like on the same.
delete test server test center today,
Yeah,
bro. Delete it.
I don't know. Me, I'm like, no, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna test my build. If it doesn't work, I'll work on it. I'll buy new chains. Yes, I'm gonna spend some times. Yes, it's not optimal.
No, so
Like,
here's my take on it. Here's why I want to delete it. I think it robs the player the ability to make mistakes, even costly ones, that I think would create a better experience in game. Um, when a new if they come up with I'm gonna make this up. I don't know. I'm trying to disease aspect tomorrow. I don't know. I'm making this up, right? But and it's specific for disease ticks for dexes or something. Within
mhm.
30 minutes, bro, someone would have gone on test and posted the
Yeah.
all the data points in Excel spreadsheet, and it's just like it ruins my ability to explore it. Like I want to know it's shit by myself, you know, or maybe I need to ask someone that I know at least in game that went out and ventured and tried it actually in game, you know. And
Mhm.
I don't know, it makes it more real to me. I don't know. That's just my take anyway.
Well, I mean, I feel like we need the test server to actually test like new stuff. Like if you're trying to roll in like a new like I know that they've been talking about for a while about revamping like the ocean content, and I mean I'm fine. Like let us test for this just to make sure it's not broken. But like yeah, it's like it's open 24/7. Like I get it. Like people can go see the brand new like the Privilia like vendor like in advance and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, it's just like also like us like in Sir, we have like a few, and I like them. I say that fondly, but like we have like especially two of them. They're like notorious like mid maxers and like
Yeah.
they do math and what the hell
I
is
hate on
math?
them because I'm not like that, but I get that there's ways to play the game, and if they find enjoyment in finding that out, I mean, it's whatever. It's none of my business ultimately, but you know that
Oh,
is my biggest
I
gripe
know.
about the test server, bro. Because I'm just like, I don't know, man. I've, because it's the logic is even and I've come across people in our RP community where I've suggested events. I say, hey, let's do this event, let's do this, and that. And the amount of people that are like, we should do that on test server. That way there's zero chance that we lose any items at all. I'm like, brother, you got 100
Yeah.
million gold. What the fuck do you care about a loadout? Like, so what if we get looted? That's in fact, that's part of the fun. That's like UO's
Mhm.
history, man. It's just random shit happening. That's what makes this game fun. And so I don't know. That's just my take on it. But I get what you're saying too. We do need to test some stuff out, particularly in the water, because that's high stakes shit, right? And if there's an exploit to be had, these boaters are gonna fucking have it. That's what I've learned in my boating
Oh
experiences.
yeah. Let's face it. Like I'm gonna get probably a lot of hate, but the true end gate, the true end game is boating. So sorry guys, sorry land people, but no, but yeah, like speaking of like losing your shit, like this is one like if we can segue into like the sea content, like this is where you learn that the stuff you're wearing in Outlands is not important because when you sink, brother, you lose everything. Like
Yeah,
you're not saving that you're losing even like your weapon, you're losing everything.
yeah.
Everything is gone, you can't recover it. Nobody can recover it. Like
The shit
sometimes
in
I
the
even like
hole.
I even
Yeah,
feel good. Like I feel good when people they actually board me because I'm like at least I'm like, oh well, it's gonna benefit someone. My loot's gonna benefit somebody
you're
else.
too
It's
nice.
all
I
right.
hate I hate when they board me because it's like they got off with everything. Fuck. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know
but
what I
you
hate the most though is when you got like those two crew members and just you don't know if they were good or you just want to message the guy like were they any good? Just tell me, were they veteran fucking pilgrims? Please tell me that's what they were.
yeah.
But no,
But
yeah,
no,
I'm glad I'm glad to segue. So let's talk about that. So you and I are enemies on land, meaning our guilds are at war. We do have an intra guild, so for any listener, our roleplay community, any member who's a part of our roleplay community, if you start a guild and you join our community, we have you kind of sign off on what we call rules of engagement in the game. And I've talked about them before, but in a nutshell, basically, we don't attack on site, we don't gank, we don't res kill, we don't loot each other unless under rare circumstances. So we treat each other with a sort of a level of respect, but we are enemies on land.
hmm
And but however, boating is like a whole other fucking animal, dude. Boating is like it's kind of crazy, right? It's a game within a game like none other on Outlands.
yeah, it's like the biggest Hunger game that you can think of. So, and the best way to basically explain our alliance is, and I think you came up with the analogy. It's like the Warcraft 3 cinematic,
Mm-hmm.
where like the knight is fighting the orc, and then they have to stop fighting because there's a fucking huge monster that is coming, and that monster is mega,
Mega,
and we have
yeah.
to ally like with each other, and then they ask us like, "Hey, why the hell? Like, what? We're like, aren't you guys supposed to be enemies?" And then we have to tell them, "Yeah, we hate each other, but we hate you more, so we're going after you." So,
Yeah, that's kind of
anyways,
like
so
that's a good way,
yeah,
and I think that's a great analogy. But yeah, I think that's the best way to phrase it. So for the listener, and maybe they're boaters, maybe they're not. If you're not a boater, basically, the reason why boating is high stakes is because the boats themselves are very expensive. At least the good ones, the decent ones, are very expensive. And when you get sunk, you pay a very steep fine. Is that fair to say? I mean, both in terms of the actual boat, because you have to recover the boat once you get sunk,
yeah,
but two, in terms of any loot that you've gathered and anything you had on you goes into the ocean, never to be seen again. So it is painful to get sunk 3 or 4 times in one night. I mean, it's for some people that they may have to call it quits for a little bit. So it's
yeah.
it's very high stakes UO for sure.
But it's like gambling. Like it's addictive. It's like you look at someone like on like we have a server member Elric, and I'm sure everybody like knows him from the Discord. Like the guy actually seeks. Like he doesn't care if he gets sunk like 10 times in a row. Like he's just gonna go like fight after fight. I feel like the guy would be like a great Urk, because like the guy is just like he's seeking fight. He doesn't care. He's gonna fight like he's gonna fight outnumbered, and it's not just him. There's a lot of people out there like that are like a bit like him, and I feel like you need that attitude. Like you need like to be able like the C content is more like yeah you seek the fights. Like you don't seek the loot necessarily, but like you seek the stories
Yeah, yeah, and
because
that's where
like
the fun lies. That's where the fun
mm,
lies, and also for the non-listener, the reason why boating is crazy is because it's boating is basically a prison. The oceans on Outlands are a prison, and prison gangs run the fucking prisons, right? So just like prison gangs run the prisons in Outlands, boating alliances, groups of people that have decided to band together for strength in numbers, run the oceans. And there's what three or four real big ones.
yeah.
What GG by themselves are pretty big. Mega, what's the other one? FS or whatever, or FS is the other
Yeah,
one.
FS. Yeah, they're called the Federation now.
Okay.
So basically, so the biggest the biggest alliance is Mega right now by far. I feel that then the close second is the Fed. I'm not super familiar without the alliance. I know GG they're pretty much by themselves. We tried to do some sort of truce, but like it didn't work out super well. But look, it's good wars. Like honestly, like we don't mind getting sunk. Like we don't mind sinking other people. Like I mean, especially our alliance. Like I don't feel like we're the one complaining the most about being outnumbered out there. Even if we encounter like we're saying like oh the big enemy to beat is Mega and blah blah. That's why we band together. But I at the end of the day like they need to exist because I mean they make the fun out of sailing. It's like everybody's talking about like oh like who's the biggest alliance out there and hope I'm not gonna get sweep by a mega sweep or something. And then if you go anyways if you go on the Discord you can see all those like nice little rivalries out there.
Yeah.
And for someone from the outside like the Discord might sound a bit like toxic for certain people, but when you like read under the layers like you just notice like it's a bit like there's a bit of that, but it's also like everybody pulling their leg a little bit,
Yeah,
everybody
it's
making
also
fun of
like
each other.
they also have like rivalries, and they're more of they're just shit talkers, but both it goes both
Yeah.
ways. So you might see it come one way like get fucked, got your bit, got you whatever, but it's like the dude receiving it 2 days ago was saying the same shit to that guy, right? So that's just how that's
hmm
kind of how they communicate. I've learned.
Oh yeah, it's like it's like a culture on its own. So, anyways, I'm always entertained when I go there, and it's a bit like the dynamic out there. Like, people feel like boating is very toxic because like yeah, people are you're just not gonna give a shit and sink you. But like on the other hand, like we have like ex members of the alliance that went to other alliance, and let's face it, like when we find them, we try to fucking sink them. Like the other day
Right.
we had the Bellicor, who's an ex member of Cool, and they decided to go with another alliance, which is fair, which is like we had no problem with. But when we encountered Bellicor the other day with a bunch of teammates, like we decided to sink him first, just because like welcome back, brother. This is how it works, and
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is no hard feeling. But the thing is you need to break through this. It's a bit like the ritual you guys have with like the snotlings. Like you need to push through like the fear of losing your gear and dying and stuff like that. But once you
yeah.
push through that, you find that like it's exhilarating.
Well,
Like
let's
me personally, like I'm yeah.
No, I was gonna say let's while we're on the topic of it. So I won't talk about other alliances because I really don't know anything about them. I know Mega's big. I know a couple people that were in there that decided to join them. I'll say this
Mm,
about it, and this is as a member of our alliance, which by the way is called the Confederacy. Right, we're the Confederacy of Privateers. That's our little
yep.
made up alliance, mostly of role players, but it doesn't have to be role players. But I think when I was around for the start of it, and I think what drew me in and I respected was we said, hey, yes, these other big ones exist. We're not going to join the big prison gangs. We're starting our own little prison gang, right? Yes, we know it's not in our favor. Yes, we know it's
Mhm.
easier if we join as a member of these other ones. But I also see it like American politics, kind of like, right? Eventually, my theory is eventually Gigi's going to join FS or something, and it's just going to be Mega and fucking the other guys. It's just going to be two, right? And
Hmm.
they're fewer and fewer every time. And just like American, it's just going to be a two-party system. So it's just basically you're one or the other guys, and we're the third party. We're like the
Yeah.
small guys getting no votes, right? Getting 2% of the votes, 3% of the votes. That's us. We're the small guys that aren't gonna probably. We're not winning the numbers games, but I think the culture that we're creating, even amongst our small group, I think is another way to experience boating, man. I really do. I believe that to my core. I think if you're not a toxic kind of guy, if you're not into just being one of the herd and you want to actually be a part of something smaller, a little bit more chill and relaxed approach to boating, we're
Hmm.
a great third option.
Yeah. So here's the thing, okay? And I'll bring you back to the charter, like the charter of Confederacy,
Yeah.
and that was written by Black like a good year ago. And the first sentence is basically, this alliance does not aspire to be the most powerful fleet on the seas of Avedon. Like, I'm reading this like verbatim, like
Right.
right there.
Right.
That's exactly what's written there, and this is what we have to remember. Everyone in our alliance is like, look, when you join us, you have to realize that we are the underdogs. Okay, we're never like we did like have like, let's face it, like, sir, like, I'm not gonna lie, certain people approached us and were like, hey, would you like to join this and that alliance? And we considered it. We discussed this internally, and it always comes down to this statement. Like, we don't want to be the most powerful fleet out there, and because it brings this level of, how can I say that? Like it brings this little sense of challenge. Um, like we If you just look at Black, for example, like when Black was sailing, he was like basically like he was alone for months, and he was just like sailing people, like he was just sinking people by himself. And then we had like another famous boater that we have is Mordrin. Same thing. Like, the guy does not, absolutely, like, he despises like being like the member, like the biggest part of the biggest group on this sea. He likes to be by himself. He likes to be outnumbered. This is his stuff. Like, his best fights are like fights where he's like 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3, and he's able to sink one or even two or maybe sometimes three. And like, this is what he's, even if he gets sunk 10 times in a row. Like, that's the mindset. Same thing with Elric. Like, Elric is just like, he's got the worst wake probably. Like, wake is basically the stats on your boat that determine if people can detect you from far or close.
Okay.
So he's got the probably the worst wake out there, just because he wants people to find him. Like he wants to be like on everybody's radar because he wants to be attacked. And he wants people to follow him because he wants to drop their like his bombs on them, and he wants to try to sink them this way, and because this is like, and I feel like we're getting a good reputation because of this, because like we don't mind. Okay, like I get swept, sometimes I get caught in a sweep, and okay, it's fine, I'm gonna heckle them a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's in good faith. Like, it's not like, nothing's personal. Like, in the end, it's just pixels. So,
Exactly.
worst case scenario, yeah.
And I think, and I'm gonna throw on. This is me probably talking a little bit of smack, but not really. But I do think what drives people to want to boat in one of the bigger alliance, something like, I'm gonna say Mega. I don't know those guys, that I don't know anyone really that well from it, but let's just say Mega, the biggest one I think now. What makes guilds want to join Mega is because UO players hate dying, bro. They hate losing. They're obsessed with these pixels, and the idea of not being in the most favorable position, in the most favorable build, with the most favorable items on the most best ship that you with links, and they can't live with it. They can't cope, bro. I don't know how to explain it. They can't be on the losing side, and I try to explain, like, if you find joy only when you win, then you're probably doing it wrong. That's my take. If you gotta win, bro, if you can't die in PvP and you lose your shit or whatever, you're not doing it right. So if you gotta be in the biggest guild and you're joining that, and that's where that's fun to you, then I think there's a different way to play the game, and I think you know building up a smaller alliance, or it doesn't even have to be our alliance. Hell, starting another one. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 or 4
Hmm.
guilds deciding to start a fourth, fifth alliance, kind of like ours, and going about it on their own and saying fuck these bigger guys. I think that's the solution in my opinion to stratify the seas, if you will.
Yeah, well, like in the grand scheme of things, like we can, like, because this is something like it's a conversation that comes over and over with our alliance. Like, hey, what are we doing? Are we going? Like, can we ally with a bigger one? And like, I feel like it comes down to like, what's your definition of winning? Like, do you really want to have a few meaningless like wins? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not having a lot of fun when it's like when we're sinking someone. It's like a 5 versus 1. Like, it's not great. Like the best fights that I remember are like we were a bit outnumbered and we were able like to get this like guild master, this notorious guy that was like with all of his crew, and we were able to sink that person. Even if they got a few of our ships, we got that one guy, and this is what we wanted. And for us, it's a win, but then for
Right.
them, it's probably a win because they like at the end maybe we lost more ships than them, but we sunk the big one. Or sometimes it's just like it could also be like me for example people don't see me often out there because I like look I'm telling you guys out there, like, try to find me. I'm a big loot pinata. Basically my template at sea is that I try not to be seen. You guys are not gonna see me. If you guys find me, like, go ahead and board me because I'm probably not gonna fight back. I'm just very stealthy. I'm just like trying to get along and get my loot and go away. But this is my fun right now. Like, I like to farm around like multiple grays, and I'm gonna test the limit. I'm gonna go at the limit of where they can detect me, and then if they see me, I'll try to get away, like a bit like a smuggler.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's a
that's
good way to
for
put it.
me. It's my yeah. For me, it's my definition of winning. Like, yeah, like I'm winning by like not getting caught and pulling back my loot. That's my way of winning. Like another, like some people they like 1 versus 1. Some people they it's so yeah. I mean, for the big guilds, like I feel like I don't want to talk on behalf of people that like are like left smaller alliance for bigger ones. I feel like they also want to compete. Um, like let's say like I'm not gonna give any flack to someone unless he wants to join the federation because yes, they're number 2, and yes, you have an honest shot at like sinking mega fleets, and it's that like it's fine. Like I get it. Like a very like one of my mentors, like one of the people that showed me how to boat. His name is Georgie the Porge. He decided to leave for FS, and we completely respect this. It's just because like he wants that challenge, and on the other hand, he also wants when he's requesting help, he wants people to fucking come. And like us, it's like
Ain't
there's
nobody
there's
coming,
too few
brother.
of
You're
us.
on your own with us. I mean, a couple people might
Yeah,
come. We just don't have the numbers. It's just it's
yeah.
unrealistic that they're going to come in time. There's just like sometimes I'll see a well back when Mapper was around, I'd see a ping like on the other side of the world. It's like fuck man, I'll see you in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? When I fucking hike and run to it, and
Hmm.
it just wasn't going to happen. So yeah, I get it too, man. I get it when they leave, but it's also like it's also kind of ironic, right? Because you're feeding into it. It's like I live in Texas, for example, and some people be like, oh, they don't like guns, but they have guns, right? Because
Mm.
it's like everyone else has a gun, so you can't be. You want to also have a gun because everyone else has a gun, but you doing that. You've just become somebody with a gun that someone else is going to say, "Oh, everyone else has a gun," right? So you're perpetuating the thing you dislike because you, out of your own self interest, don't want to be the person that gets shit on, right? So you don't want to
Hmm.
be the boater. No one wants to be the single boater when 5 dudes roll up on them. You don't want to be the victim in that way because they see that as losing. But I'm like,
Mm.
so you join it and become the sixth one and do it to another guy? It doesn't make sense
Yeah.
either, you know?
Oh man, yeah, but it's basically I get the analogy with the gun, but I feel like it's like you need to respect, like you need to respect that, like you need to respect like us, like we respect other larger alliances
Right.
because like yeah, yes, first of all, yes, they are a threat, so we respect them for that, so we're not gonna be reckless, and if we are reckless, well, we respect the fact that like we're gonna pay the price and it's all right, and it's so. Anyways, like it's not something that is gonna get necessarily like there is no solution. It's not necessarily gonna be resolved. Like at the end, like also like there's been a time where like a lot of people stopped sailing because the big alliances were too big, and like it kind of killed like the fun out of it. But on the other hand, for us, like the ones that are still boating, like we just decided to fucking evolve. Like we just decided like to like me, like I started like doing my smuggling thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Elric made a name of himself just fighting outnumbered. So but the thing is there's always people they're looking at the other team and they're like, hey, like we want to be like this. Like yeah, but do you really? Like
Right.
do you? Like
It
what's the
it
best
also
type
comes
of
at a
win?
cost, man. So that's another thing is like, and from what and I imagine this is part what I imagine in part from stories I've heard. Maybe you can enlighten me, and maybe one day I can speak to a boater from one of these alliances on here or privately. But I imagine like in prison gangs, when you join a prison, you get their protection, yes, but you also have to do whenever they need you to do something, you gotta fucking do it, right? And
Oh yeah.
now somebody's your boss. Yeah, in fact, you have multiple bosses, and
Yes. So here's the thing, okay? Like, and this is, I feel like this is true with the bigger alliances in general. So, in the other alliances, like when somebody calls for help, you have to fucking go. Like, you gotta go. You're gonna get kicked out if you don't go. Like us, we're a lot more lenient. Like first of all, like if you decide to be just a farmer, you're just farming. Like your boat is absolutely not made to fight other players. Like yeah, you're not gonna show up. So, and we have zero expectation of people showing up. Like back when we had the mapper and we had like the panic button activation, like sometimes you can't go because you're too far or but yeah, but there's certain places, like there's certain guilds that yeah, you have to run this type. Like you need to show up. Uh, Now other stuff like I don't want to talk over my ass. But like I'm pretty sure like we've seen some boats out there. Like we feel like they probably are running some specific templates and stuff like that. Us, we're a bit more flexible.
wow, I see what you're saying.
Um,
Like they're like you gotta be ready to fucking actually fight if you're gonna be a part of this.
mhm. Yeah, because look, they're competitive. Like in their own way, they are competitive, okay,
Right,
and I
right.
and I can respect that. Us, we're competitive another way, like we're like we have our own way. It's a bit more casual, and yeah, and I feel like people respect us for that.
Yeah, I think and just to put the kind of to put the cherry on top of that, that I want to say for anyone considering boating casually who doesn't want to, when they're logged on, be told to go somewhere, and if you don't, you're kicked out or anything like. If that does happen, again, I don't know that it does, but I've heard that it does. So among the bigger ones, you don't get a free ride to just get the protection whenever you
Hmm.
need help. You got to be the help whenever everyone else gets attacked. And in a big alliance like that, I imagine people are going to get attacked often. So oftentimes your ass is going to be responding to call outs. So it's a very hardcore way to play the game. And like you said, we respect that people do it, and I respect it, and I understand why people do it. But if you want to just farm around the coast, if you want to just be more of a starter kind of thing and have a couple people that support you, we have the Discord, right, where people can talk and interact and stuff. So I think we're a very good option for some folks, the more casual boaters. I think we're a good casual option for a lot of boaters, man. So hopefully more people realize that they don't have to be a part of the big two and at each other's throats if they want to play it more casually. I think that would be a great thing for people to consider.
Hmm. Well, look, like we have let's face it, like we're not as small. Like I think we've got like in total like something like 70 boaters, like 70 people that can like that they own boats and they can actually like in the entire alliance.
Yeah,
So, and I mean, we've had times where we rolled like 10 people deep. We had some very large fight. Like, I mean, it's something that is still possible. Um, yeah, but we're a lot more. The thing is with our alliance is also like what people need to realize is that, and I'm gonna talk also like about Sir. Like for Sir, for example, when you decide to start boating, um, we basically like we hand out a lot of stuff. So basically, we give you a boat, pretty much decked out. Well, we have a ranked system basically. Like we have like a progression system. So when you start with Sir, uh, you want to join or like basically it's a sub guild called the Seadogs. So let's say you decide to join the
Sea
Seadogs, so you have a
dogs,
ritual.
yeah.
So you have some steps. So like first, so the first ritual you call it the ritual of the mass. So basically you need to we give you a super small and shitty boat, and we dump you somewhere, and you have to find your way back to Hellstone. And it's on your own. You have no spyglass. You have no crew. You have no ability. You have nothing. You just have to come back home. Then you make it Seep Up, and then from Seep Up to become a Seadog, you need to do the ritual of the Maw. So basically, you need to go solo the Maw by yourself. You can't become a Seadog until you solo a mini at sea. And then to become a Sea Wolf, which is like the most prestigious title, you need to sink someone by yourself. You need to sink someone without any help, and you need to provide a screenshot or a video. But the thing is once you get to like Sea Dog or Sea Wolf, like we are gonna give you most likely like a galley or a carrack fully decked out with like probably like the best gear we can find.
Yeah.
So
And that
and
RP angle is
it's
something. It's a big deal, man. And I think that's the part of boating that I think a lot of people are missing out on. It's a part of the game that I think a lot of people really gravitate towards and kind of like the idea of boating. And even in the PvP channel, the boating PvP channel, I see all the gifs, the boating memes and stuff. Like they're into the idea of boats and boating from a roleplay standpoint in a certain way,
Mhm.
right? And you guys really hit the nail on the head with the RP because I see it, man, and it's so cool to see the stories and these guys make up their own personas around boating and these sea dogs and the lore you guys have. It's really a cool thing to be a part of, you know. So like I think it's a really cool way to boat because you guys are tying in the role play, like even the task with getting back to Hellstone on a small shitty ship. It's like, dude, that's cool as hell. You know what I mean? Like, it's a cool thing to do, man. It's just, it's a role play flavor that's going into something that also gets you out there and boating. So you get to do both, man. You know, you get to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, and the thing is like what's nice about this system is like it's I feel like it's a lot like Urk is like as you progress, like we test your metal. Like if at one point you're like, hey, no, this is not for me. I just got sunk and lost all my shit. I quit. Like okay, like that this is fair. Like we get that. But on the other end, like when you progress and like you get the reward, we're giving out like basically it's like million words of literally like we're giving you a bow that is worth millions with everything that is on it. So we remove that barrier of entry. The thing is like I feel like for boating, like if let's say you're brand new and you're by yourself, I don't want to say you're never gonna make it, but you're gonna make it like very late, and you're like gonna take you a long time before you get there. So being part of one of those big guilds or alliances, like yes, like yeah, they're gonna help you out. They're gonna dick you out because they want to win. Like for Mega or GG or whatever, like they probably like pays for some upgrades because they want good ships at sea. But let's face it, like it comes with like usually it comes with like expectations.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. I go back to the prison
so
analogy, dude. Like somebody gives you a honey
yeah.
bun, they're gonna want some. You know what I'm saying? They're not giving to that out of the kindness of their heart sometimes. You know.
Oh yeah.
So,
But the thing
but
is he
and to be fair to them, the expectation may be exactly what you said. It's not that now they see you like you owe them, but they do expect you to use these items. That's fair enough. You know what I'm saying? And the
Mhm.
expectation that you're gonna have is like, oh shit, these dudes just gave me some great shit, and now they're asking me to show up. I gotta show up. You know? And so So I get how the that can work, but at the same time, when I log on, man, and sometimes I don't want to do that. Sometimes I want to just farm around the fucking, or sometimes I want to fish or some shit. So
Yeah.
I don't want to have to respond every time. Me personally, I do, like, let's say I want to, if my friends need me and I can, of course. But I don't know. I like the more casual approach, man, for sure.
Yeah, which is why like us, like we try to be like no string attached type, like the no strings attached type of persons. Like yeah, we're gonna give you a big ship, but like yeah, it's fine. You don't want to do call outs, it's fine. But on the other hand, if you want to come sweep with us once in a while, for sure we're not gonna say no.
Yeah,
Uh, the other thing is that people don't realize is that like just like the upkeep of like keeping like an alliance, especially like a small alliance, it's not just like having ships on. It's man, we need to have DMs. We need to make them available. We need to have a bunch of shelves everywhere that are stocked. Like we need to plan. Like we need to also like do our bosses, farm
yeah,
our bosses. We have so our HQ right now. Not gonna say. I'm sure everybody knows where it is, but our new HQ now is surrounded by enemy alliances islands.
dude. Every
Okay,
time I
and
launch,
DMs.
bruh. Every time I launch,
Oh
these
no!
motherfuckers are on me, man. Like three of them every
Look,
time. But
I'm telling you, there's people out there. They have PKRs with tracking, and they track certain people, and they know sometimes then let's face it, like there's also like we're like in between like the basically like the travel line to go to the deep sea. So like for sure they're gonna catch us. So for sure.
yeah,
But like sometimes, like let's face it, like sometimes we have to go out there and we have to fucking like we have to kick some ass. Like we have to sink a few ships to be like, like don't come here. Or sometimes I have to go out and like on the Hellstone around the small islands,
yeah,
and I need to go and sink a few ships because it's like no, I'm sorry, like we're not gonna let you guys farm freely here.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, there was a time where like people respected our boundaries up until we sank someone important, and then they show up and they flood that bay in front of Elstone, and making for some memorable like situations. But yeah, like sometimes
Remember
like
that time we were fucking around? It was like 6 orcs or something, and we sunk that. What's his face?
oh man, okay, yeah, I have to tell the stories from the start. Okay, this is the start. So when this is soon after you guys join. So there's about 6 of you guys. You guys are fighting somewhere, and you guys basically ping to say that you guys are under attack.
Yeah,
And I show up, and as I show up, I see on my spyglass it's a longship, and I know exactly who it is because we had fight with this guy like every second day. And the guy's name is Convict. He's one of the head honchos of Mega.
oh, is he?
I,
Okay,
I
yeah.
I've heard around the branches that he's the main guy. Look, I respect the guy. So, and we get into a fight. A few of his guys come over, but like, let's face it, he was outnumbered. He bit more on what he could chew. And I feel like he was surprised because when I showed up, he probably thought, "Oh, he's gonna fight Urks or he's gonna help me." Or no, like we all went against him. We sunk the guy.
Yeah, I remember
So
because he has like that orange. Or is it an orange ship? Is that what it is, or is he?
I don't remember, but he has a long ship. I think it's black. I don't
Okay,
remember,
yeah,
but
I
like,
don't remember
but he has a
exactly, but I
long ship
remember
that is super fast. Yeah,
Yeah,
so he has
we
this.
pinned him, and I remember in voice chat we had no idea what we're doing, bro. We're just fucking, I have to. I don't
Oh no,
even.
me.
It
Oh
was
no, I was
hilarious.
there. I was like, guys, it's the big guy. Let's go. Like this, let's do it. It's just like I remember I was like an ape on Discord, like just like, hey, let's sink him. And I remember like, and then like so we sink the guy. Then his crew shows up to like rescue him. But they fail, and then we escape, and we go by like we go like dock to some like small fucking Urk like caravan somewhere like not too far from there.
Yeah, we're
And
all
then like
cramming there, just
as I
like
come out,
laughing
I'm
our
like,
ass off.
yeah, and then like I get out of there and like I go on the land, and you guys are like, hey, like there's no more truce, like you're like. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, tribute, there you go. And then we came back to Hellstone, and Convict showed up, and basically like he said, oh well, there's no more troops. Now we're gonna flood like all the area. So and anyways, for the next like few hours, there was a bunch of mega ship patrolling the little islands near Hellstone, near Privalia. And I mean, I could see them from Hellstone. Like I could see them patrolling. So that lasted for a few hours. So this is when we're like, oh well, it's time to do a few like some land
Some
land
shit for a
content
while,
for a
right?
while.
Yeah. That was a
But
good.
but
That was a
but
good time though, man. And I think more orcs are getting into boating, so hopefully we get out there. I mean, we have our limitations, of course. Most aren't mages, but the good thing is you can you can harpoon and boat just fine. So there's different shit you can do.
hmm
We love it, man. But
oh
hey, let me ask you one final question here, Gal. While I got you here, before I let you go, I guess we can ask it about boating. But if Owen and Luthien gave you the keys, and I asked everybody this, right? And they said, "Hey, you can change anything you want about boating, and it has to happen today. Till tomorrow, it'll be done." What are you changing and why?
oh honestly, I wouldn't change anything really. Like yeah, there's a few tweaks here and there, but nothing major. Like I feel like a rework is overdue for the because let's the only thing I don't like about boating is that I feel like templates are a bit like all standard, and
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
you guys like Erks, like you guys are running like those arc reavers, and I feel like it's not like I know like crew damage templates they don't run arc reavers specifically, they run something else, and right now there's also a bunch of crews that are a bit like useless. Because right now the name of the game is speed, so everybody's running after those speed crew, and everything else is basically trash. And so yeah, maybe like a bit more variety in terms of builds. So we can be a bit more creative, because I feel like the meta, like the most efficient type of. I feel like everybody's running a bit the same thing. Like I don't see a lot of
Yeah,
variety.
yeah, I see
Like
that a
yeah, there's
lot too.
different ship size, but it's about it. And I'd like to see I'm gonna go back to the orc river. Like I'd like to see like the like you guys with your orc reavers like being able to be like super competitive. But not just that. There's other stuff. Like let's say like you want to run like a like only like marines, or like right now you can't do that. Like you can't, or like you have to run speed, and that's about it. And you have to run also cannon damage and cannon accuracy, which is to be like ideal. But other than that, no. It's pretty fun. Like
It's pretty
beside
good
all
as is.
that, yeah. Like it's like
Okay.
I don't know. Like I feel like those guys, like those two guys, they just like I don't know. Like sometimes I listen to them and I'm like, how the fuck are they coming with those ideas? And it's working. Like it's working. Like we're complaining, but everybody's playing, and it's
Hmm.
fun, and everybody has fun. And so I decided just to shut up and just be like, oh well, I'm just gonna play and have fun instead. And but yeah, for boating, like, maybe a bit more. I'd like to see some of you guys a bit to have like some templates get more love.
Yeah, no, I think there's room for. I mean, it's just like I said to piggyback on what I said earlier about like the map. There's elements to the game that are out there that are not explored very much. There's caves out there that no one goes to that are beautiful. There's wilderness farming spots that are awesome that are just they have the history, they have all kinds of shit, but the mobs aren't good, so maybe they don't go there that often. So I just think there's parts of the game that should be explored more. Like you said, there's crew. There's what 8 to 10 different kinds of crew, and nobody uses 7 of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a
Mhm.
shame, like you said.
But man, there is a lot of room to improve on, because like when you're on your boat, you can't teleport anywhere. You have to go from point A to point B, and it's like there's a lot of I don't know, like maybe like I don't know, they decide to do I don't know something like another like zone of water where you could like go do a certain like like I don't know, some sort of dungeon for water. Like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of room, but I can then again I'm not a genius about this. Like I'm not like the guy who comes with the bright ideas.
Yeah,
But
we'll
I
leave it to
mean, they
them.
can.
That would be
Yeah,
sick,
they
though.
can.
That would be sick,
Mhm.
dude. A dungeon like where you do like you go through a like an underwater cave on your boats, like a big ass one. That'd be absolutely
Oh
sick,
my god! Like a time dungeon with boats.
dude.
Hey man,
Yes,
forget it.
dude. That'd be
Forget
fucking
it.
sick.
But
That'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
sick. Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay. Yeah.
one
That's your
can hope.
suggestion then. That's right there. A time dungeon for boats. That's the suggestion.
Yeah, I would like to see that. But anyways, but it's pretty fun. It's still pretty fun so far. Like I just have fun just like farming and summoning a bus here and there and getting away with all the loot
Yeah,
without
man,
getting
casually,
sunk.
and having the RP side of it, like me and you have talked about, we got some stuff in the works where we're gonna do. We've done RP events before with boating. We've done
Yeah.
more stuff where we incorporated the boats into stories. Some of the orcs, for
Oh man.
example, orcs can't make ships. We're not smart enough, so every orc that has a ship has to write a story on how they stole it or captured it or found it or something, right? So there's so much more to boating than just making sure you're sinking people, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of exploring it, man. So I hope to see our alliance, I say grow, but not just in terms of numbers, but also in terms of the depth, right? In terms of the value and the fun that it gives us. I don't really care for
Yeah.
numbers too much. It'd be nice to have more people participate, but I more so mean in terms of exploring the boating aspect and how it can be fun for us, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to do it with you, and I can't wait for the next boating event.
Well, man, we're working like right now. We have Zardes in our in Sir, who's a new officer. Like he's working on a little something that is a bit like role play. We don't know how it's gonna turn out, but it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be a bit like we're doing right now. We're doing like inspections, or we're doing like we're like pulling over other boats and. But yeah, it's gonna be like similar to this, but we're gonna make it a bit more formal. So anyways, there's stuff coming up. I hope people get in. Like I hope like people from other alliances are hearing this and they're just not gonna say like, fuck them. We're just gonna sink them, and they're just gonna try to get along. Like, hey guys, we're not gonna sink you guys. We're just gonna try to make something like fun out there. Just talk a little bit after you can sink us if you want, but just let us do our thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly, right? Like we don't. I mean, we're not saying not to get sunk. We're just saying we're trying to sometimes do shit that may be fun, and hey, maybe they can join in on it too sometime, and
Hmm.
maybe that's what the future looks like. That's what I'm
well,
hoping for, man, because it's fun. Boating is fun, and
hmm
I just think the role players can add a little bit of flavor to it. That's what I think. So we shall see.
hmm
But hey, man, Gal, it was a pleasure having you, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to do more stuff, and again, you're an amazing friend, man. A good friend of me to have, and for you, anybody listening that's boaters, if you see us out there, don't show us any mercy.
Oh no. Oh no, you guys try to sink us. We're not going to be angry. It's all right. And same with you, Xu'rek. It's like it's been a pleasure. It's been a hell of a year, like playing with you. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to come and gank me or ask for shinies and shit.
Yeah, well, we have to, bro. We gotta ask every time. It's only in our nature. So,
It's fine. I just give it to you now. It's just like go ahead.
all right, Gal. Well, hey, man, thanks for coming on, brother. Have a good night.
Hey, take care.
Take care, man. Later.
Bye.